Good morning, traders. It's Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators again on Friday, April 5th, the end of another glorious trading week. So, I'd like to remind you, as I always do, to please subscribe to the channel if you are new. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I would love to have you as a subscriber. And hello to all the recent new subscribers. And also leave feedback. Give me comments below what you would like me to do more of, anything you'd like me to analyze, etc. In fact, I'm going to be doing that at the end. I will wrap things up with a request to take a look at Tesla. So we'll be doing that as soon as I go through the general markets first. So let's go ahead and start with that. Let's jump into the S&P 500, which is always where I start. And it is continuing to push higher. I had a retracement here, expecting that this level here could likely be the end of this move finally running out of steam because we've had this oscillator getting lower and lower and lower while price keeps going higher and higher and higher. And price is just pushing even higher. This is an incredibly, incredibly strong, stubborn market. It just does not want to retrace. We have not had anything approaching a significant retracement since back at this very first little pullback after the move got started. So I'm really waiting for that. I'm looking for that. That being said, there have been plenty of trading opportunities along the way if you're a day trader. But if you are longer term trading, then the only way you can go really has to be up because this trend just does not want to give up. But as I pointed out, the oscillator is not terribly strong. Momentum is not very high. It's not terrible, but it's just not that high compared to where it's been in the past when this trend was just sort of in its formative first half or so. So just bear that in mind. We're also coming up on some significant overhead resistance, which is the all-time highs. And I didn't think that we were going to go directly to challenge those all-time highs in one shot. I was expecting a pullback and then challenge the highs. But at the moment, anyway, I don't know. It's looking like it might want to attempt to just go straight to challenging those all-time highs. That being said, however, look at the 60-minute. We've got price going higher and higher and higher, and even still this morning pushing a little bit higher. But that oscillator, weak, 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 weak. It is just dropping like a stone. It just recently, in fact, yesterday, even managed to dip below the zero line. However, it has held and popped back up above again, but it is lower than the last peak. So, I would tread very cautiously here. This is a nervous area, and I don't know about. I'm not real confident in going long here for anything other than a short term day trade, something like that. Put it that way. This is an area where I am expecting the market to pull back. Especially if it manages to get up in here, then I would definitely be exceedingly cautious about going long there. I would only want to think about doing any kind of a longer term long if price is able to get up over this level, pull back to it, hold, and then head higher. Then that would signify without a doubt that this area is now a buy zone instead of a sell zone, and that that is holding as support. But right now, my expectation is that that is going to be a very strong resistance. And that's if the market can even get up there. So we'll just have to wait and see. Right now, anyway, this has invalidated my retracement, which just never happened. Now, it is also possible because we do have a 15% chance that this pullback here is less than that 38.2 retracement. And the same thing would go with this here if I think that is my retracement level. So it's entirely possible that we have seen our wave 4 and that we're in our wave 5 right now. We have no way to know that quite yet, but it is possible. So just trade cautiously. This is like I said, this is a delicate area, so be careful. All right, let's take a quick look at crude oil. And crude is still just really strongly marching higher. This uptrend is actually accelerating. It's picking up steam. We've had momentum now is actually rising. You can see here the momentum is getting a little bit higher. Things are starting to pick up. So this trend looks like it's got some legs. We have had a little bit of a pullback. You can see it here on the 60-minute. Boy, Boy, those are some terrible lines. But notice what that looks like. That to me looks an awful lot like a flag. So I'm thinking this is a bull flag, and if price can break out of the flag and start heading higher, then I would be looking for a 100% extension of this move here. So I could actually plot my extension if I want to, and just go for the 100% level. So we'll keep an eye on that. I mean, right now in the 60-minute, the oscillator is below the zero line. So short term, anyway, the bulls are in. I mean, sorry, the bears are in control. But I mean, we're in a pullback, so that fits. That's not that surprising. It has been over a couple of days, over 2-3 days, and there's been some volatility in there a bit, but it does to me look like a flag pattern. So you can see it here as well. Price coming up, and then a little flag, and then it can continue higher. So we'll have to see if, in fact, that is what happens. That is a very common thing to see mid-trend. And right now on the shorter period time frame, then we are looking at, we went sideways for a little bit here, and then new trend emerged. So out of this trend anyway, that flag would signify a continuation. So watch for a break of that level, probably and ideally coinciding with a break of the zero line on the oscillator and possibly the MACD, probably the MACD line as well, and trade accordingly to that direction. Take a peek at gold, and gold still pulling back. It has not gotten to that extension I was looking for yet, the 100%, right? Because we saw, or I saw what I believe to be a bear flag here, and we did get a breakout to the downside, and we are having some continuation, but it hasn't really done kind of quite what I was expecting, which was a more direct retest of this and then a bounce. Just hasn't gotten there quite yet, but it is heading lower. You can see on a smaller scale, we're setting lower lows and lower highs, and it is drifting to the downside. So on the oscillator right now, or on the awesome MACD, the oscillator is getting weaker and weaker. You can see those levels here. There's just not a lot of momentum, not a lot of strength in this. So I am looking for continuation to the downside. We did see price break through this level, come back and test it, hold, and give up and go down, and lower lows and lower highs. So right now on the shorter term time frame, the trend is down, and even on the longer term time frame, the trend is down. So we are looking to trade that direction. We do have a directional bias right now, and I am personally thinking I'm looking for that 100% extension. So that's my ideal target out of this move. We'll just have to see if the market shapes up enough to give it to us. We do have the MACD line below the signal line on the daily, and it's been playing with the signal line a lot on the 60, kind of whipping around because we've got a slightly down but somewhat sideways action here. So not terribly surprising to see that whipping around like that. All right, let's take a peek at natural gas, which is just continuing to drift down. The trend is a gently sloping down, downwards trend, but there's just no momentum here. I've been talking about this over and over again for weeks now. There's just not a lot going on in this market. It's a very, very sleepy market right now. That being said, we are approaching the lows, right? We're getting close to a double bottom here, and look how much higher the oscillator is. The oscillator is barely below the zero line at all. So if we do come down and test price again and hold, especially with the oscillator this high, that is a very, very bullish divergence. And I would be looking for some sort of a move to the upside. And I would need to control my risk by putting a stop somewhere down below, depending on how confident I am and also how much risk tolerance I have. I can either put my stop just below the lows here, or I can put my stop maybe outside of this first blue zone, or put my stop all the way down below the lowest support level, which is the magenta zone here. Because if it breaks that, then pretty much it's free fall for a little bit. There's not a whole lot of support under that for a little while. So looking for price to come down and test that. Right now, it is just such a slow moving market. I'm not really expecting it to blast through this level or anything, because there's just not much momentum. So keep an eye on that, and you can see that on the 60-minute chart, we've got a slightly bullish divergence. Again, it's a little bit magnified because we're zoomed in, we're blown up here, but you can see, price is making lows and lows and lows and lows and lows and lows, etc. But the oscillator just kind of keeps going higher and higher and higher. So the oscillator is building in strength on the 60-minute level, 60-minute basis. We also have crossed over the trend line here. Right, we had this descending trend line where every time price got up to it, it was a good selling opportunity, and we've actually hopped up over that and are now continuing downwards. But the angle of this move has slowed down, so the move is starting to flatten out a little bit, and I could see it bottoming and probably coinciding with a test of these lows again. I could see this coming down and then turning around and heading back up again. We'll have to wait and see what it does. All right, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is hanging on to those gains from the other day. We had this massive, massive day, and now we're actually holding most of it. We've been going sideways here. You can see it really well on the 60, and just kind of range bound at the moment. But look at that oscillator. It is building in strength and momentum, and it has just crossed the zero line to the upside. So this is potentially really good news for the crypto bulls, because this could be the start of the bull trend that they've been waiting for. We just need to see this pull back maybe a little bit more. It doesn't have to, but ideally pull back a little bit more, hold, and then break higher, take out this high here, the higher high, and now we know that the bull trend is intact and in force, and we're just looking for a continuation of higher highs and higher lows, and just see how far it can push, how far it can go. All right, now let's finish up with an addition to the analysis. Let's take a look at Tesla, because I was requested to look at Tesla a couple of days ago. So here we have weekly chart on the left and daily chart on the right of Tesla. And Tesla has been very range bound for quite some time. You can see it really well on the weekly. This area here has been the trend, the range it's been stuck in since early 2017. So it's really been just chopping around in this area. But there's a lot of chop. There's a lot of range there, because we're talking about from about, let's see, what is that? That's about 242 to about 383, almost 390, something like that. So, easy 150 point range. So there was a lot to play with here in Tesla. Now, there is a major buy zone that formed way back in 2017 on the weekly basis, and it has held here, it has held here, actually both of these points here and here, and basically has held here as well. Price did get down to it just recently and bounced up off of it, and then there was a little bit of a rude surprise the other day, actually just yesterday. Tesla had this huge gap, right? Big gap down. Now, just to clarify my lines here, on the weekly basis, I've just drawn the one buy zone here, because that's the one that's most relevant to where the price is right now, to where we are. On the daily, I've gone ahead and drawn the daily sell zone, which was up here, and the daily buy zone, which is here, the blue line. The magenta lines are still the weekly buy zone. So I am treating the bottom line of the weekly buy zone as the bottom line of the buy zone, period. And then I've just added the top line of the daily buy zone. So we are, pardon me, we are looking at, it's kind of hard to see. Let me zoom in a little bit on that. There, now you can sort of see it a little bit better. Scroll left, there we go. There's a little tiny red candle right there, which is acting as the top of the buy zone. So every time price is coming back down into this buy zone, it's bounced, it's bounced, it's bounced, even on what everybody traditionally thinks of as terrible news. All right, this was Elon smoking pot on that podcast. This was the SEC slapping fines all over Tesla. And I mean, you can see what price did after that, and it went right back to the sell zone again, and then came right back down again, and went right into the buy zone again. Right, and then turned around. We had a nice doji, just a real textbook doji, and then bounced. But then they announced, bad sales records, etc., and we had this big gap here occur, and a lot of people are talking about how, oh, Tesla's done, they're never going to be able to make any money. But that's exactly the same stuff they were saying back here. Oh, Elon's crazy, the Tesla's done. oh, they're getting fined. The SEC is going to shut them down. Tesla's done. It just the news is late to the party and or just completely wrong. So right now, what we have is a very clear pattern of higher highs and higher lows and higher high and higher low and higher high and higher low, all the way down to here. And right now, we still have that. Right, we've got this level here, just barely higher than the previous minor sell zone here, right? So you could call that holding, but we have formed, at the moment anyway, a higher low. So the question is, today when the market opens, what's going to happen? Is the market going to sell off like crazy and head down and take out this low and continue the pattern of lower lows and lower highs? Or is the market going to turn around and break this level here, in which case the trend has reversed again, and we're expecting it to probably get somewhere near the sell zone. This is just how it works, especially when something is as range bound as Tesla has been. So that is what we're looking for. Ideally, in a perfect world, if I had my way, I would love to see it get down a little bit lower, maybe down into this zone and hold and leave. But you don't want to be placing, like right now, I would not want to be placing an order on open or anything like that. I don't want to just jump in blindly here. I need to see price leave this zone, right? But not only that, ideally, what I need to see it do is leave the zone, come back and test the zone to hold, and then start heading higher again, right? And then once you see that, then you have your confirmation that, on a small time scale, you've got higher highs and higher lows forming. So now it's going to continue that until it tests this area. And then that's where you want to either consider tightening up your stop, getting ready to take profits if it doesn't break that, or hopefully it just breaks that level and then establishes a higher high, higher low on a bigger time scale. And then the trend has reversed and it can go right back up into that area there. All right, that is Tesla for you. Let's take a peek one more time at the S&P 500, see what's going on. And the answer is not much, not terribly surprising. So I will just finish it up there. Time to go get ready for our premium chat room. So those of you who will be there this morning, I will see you in moments. And for everybody else, join me again on Monday morning when I do this all over again, 5:45 a.m. And we see what the market might be wanting to give us. So until then, I'm Jonathan Van Clute with Stock Navigators, wishing you that you have a great weekend. Have a great day of trading today. Enjoy your weekend now that it is Friday, and just start next week with fresh eyes and a fresh brain. All right, take care. Bye bye.